Do you know what the sound of death tearing through the Earth's core sounds like? It isn't an immediate, deafening explosion. It begins with a choked, wind-shearing shriek from thousands of feet above, a ghostly howl slashing through the still night sky. Then comes a terrifying seismic shock that rattles the most impenetrable bedrock, as if a furious god just slammed a colossal hammer into the earth. And then, the underworld cracks open. Tehran once arrogantly beat its chest, proclaiming its underground superfortresses were immortal, absolute safe havens shielded from the prying eyes of satellites and the world's most advanced weaponry. But tonight, the United States of America delivered a blood-soaked letter, forged in steel and hellfire straight into the abyss, proving one brutal truth. Under the crosshairs of the Pentagon, nowhere is deep enough to hide. Hundreds of meters beneath the rugged, barren surface of Iran's treacherous mountain ranges, a secret subterranean world once pulsed with frantic energy. The air here was always thick with the scent of machine oil, the acrid tang of burned electronic components, and the biting cold of reinforced concrete poured meters thick. For decades, the regime in Tehran had poured sweat, blood, and billions of dollars into hollowing out the belly of the mountains, engineering a labyrinthine network of tunnels as complex as a colossal ant colony. They believed the massive natural stone canopy above was the ultimate shield. Inside these pitch-black bunkers, Iran hoarded its most dangerous strategic trump cards. Thousands of ballistic missiles ready to strike regional targets, swarms of explosive-laden drones, and unimaginably vast ammunition depots. This place wasn't just a storage facility. It was the beating, threatening heart of their entire war machine, the launchpad for Iran's ability to project power far beyond its borders. Their hubris was so immense, they believed that even if the sky fell, these underground bases would stand resolute, ready to unleash a fatal counterstrike against any enemy daring to cross the red line. But that illusion of invincibility was about to be pulverized into dust. A death warrant had been signed in Washington, and the executioners were silently approaching from the shadows. Annihilation doesn't always announce itself with blaring sirens. Sometimes it begins with an eerie, blood-curdling silence. The U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, pulled back the curtain on a strike operation so precise and devastating it sent shivers down the spine of the global intelligence community. The black and white footage released by CENTCOM opens with a dead, menacing void. But the sharpest eyes will catch a pivotal detail: the manifestation of the Grim Reaper itself. Right at the 25th second of the footage, the murky waves abruptly parted, and the massive, pitch-black silhouette of an attack submarine loomed from the abyss. It breached without a sound, as cold and ruthless as a prehistoric leviathan. The presence of this submarine at the exact 25-second mark was no coincidence. It was a definitive declaration. America had a knife to the target's throat before a single radar system could even blink. From the moment that phantom of the ocean appeared, the countdown to the underground fortress's doomsday officially began. In the blink of an eye, the night sky was ripped apart by blinding streaks of fire. U.S. forces unleashed their ultimate executioners, the bunker busters. These were no ordinary munitions designed to detonate on contact. These were solid steel monsters, weighing a staggering 5,000 pounds, engineered with ultra-hard alloy casings and flawless aerodynamics for one singular mission: to pierce hell itself. Imagine the catastrophic kinetic energy of a 2.5-ton object plummeting from the edge of the stratosphere. When they slammed into the mountainside, they didn't explode. Acting like the colossal drill bits of the gods, they carried terrifying momentum, violently churning through layers of earth and stone. They pulverized the hardest granite, shredded protective steel plating, and bored straight through the ultra-thick reinforced concrete ceilings of the bunkers. A display of pure, unstoppable, brutal physical force plunging right into the heart of the underground base. Deep underground, in the dimly lit corridors, the final moments for the on-duty personnel weren't filled with panic, but with a paralyzing, horrific numbness. Before the sound of the blast could even reach their ears, the air pressure violently snapped. The tunnel ceilings, built to withstand the apocalypse, suddenly violently shuddered and cracked open, making way for giant steel monoliths tearing downward at supersonic speeds. And then, the delay fuses triggered. Boom. Within the tight, claustrophobic confines of the tunnels, the detonation of a 5,000-pound bomb created an unearthly inferno. A massive fireball, burning at thousands of degrees, violently bloomed in a fraction of a second, instantly incinerating every molecule of oxygen. But the most catastrophic devastation didn't just come from the initial blast. With nowhere to dissipate in the enclosed space, the massive shockwaves violently rebounded off the rock walls, surging down the tunnels like a tidal wave of sheer pressure and thermal energy, bending colossal steel support beams like dry twigs and tearing apart everything in its path. Terrifyingly, this strike hit the ultimate fatal pressure point. CENTCOM's footage clearly captures a sequence of devastating impacts, but what truly chilled military analysts to the bone were the massive pillars of fire erupting immediately afterward. Those were secondary explosions. The payload from the American bombs was merely the spark. The real fuel was Iran's own subterranean arsenal, the munitions, the highly volatile fuel depots, and the hundreds of stockpiled ballistic missiles. Missiles self-detonated. Giant fuel reserves violently combusted. They reacted with one another, creating a chain reaction of seismic tremors that fractured a massive geological footprint. An entire complex underground infrastructure, taking decades of grueling labor to build, was wiped off the map and transformed into a gargantuan crematorium, burying Tehran's ambitions of cross-border firestorm forever. Through the smoke and the slowly settling debris, a chilling, ice-cold message was broadcast by Washington officials, crystal clear and impossible to misinterpret. No target is beyond reach. This airstrike wasn't merely a preemptive tactical hit to destroy hardware, it was a masterclass in psychological warfare. The United States just showed Iran that every desperate attempt to dig, hide, and fortify is utterly meaningless against the sheer intelligence and surgical strike capabilities of Washington. By flattening the underground missile and ammunition storage facilities deep within enemy territory, America severed Iran's most dangerous tentacles right as the Middle East crucible boiled over with the intense conflict involving Israel. Permanently degrading Tehran's defensive and long-range offensive capabilities is a crippling blow struck at the very root of its military apparatus. American military commanders demonstrated a flawless synthesis of pinpoint intelligence, identifying the exact coordinates of top-secret bases, a spectacular projection of power, the sudden materialization of the attack submarine, and specialized, apocalyptic weaponry, the bunker busters. This cold, calculated perfection is the most terrifying deterrent of all. The ground over the Zagros Mountains still reeks of high explosives and molten metal, but an entirely different, suffocating atmosphere has gripped the globe. Since the lightning strike was delivered, a deafening silence has emanated from Tehran. No immediate official statements detailing the scale of the damage, no fiery, defiant proclamations broadcasted across state television. But everyone knows, this is the chilling calm before the superstorm makes landfall. The highly sensitive and critical nature of this target, the deep inland subterranean command centers, will undoubtedly push the escalation ladder to its breaking point. This is no longer a localized skirmish fought through proxy militias. It was a direct strike at the pride and the military spine of the regime. Can Tehran swallow this bitter pill and sit idly by as its strategic assets turn to ash? Or will they push the red button, unleashing a full-scale retaliation that plunges America and Israel into an uncontrollable vortex of violence? When an impenetrable underground fortress is breached, the ultimate boundary of restraint is ripped to shreds. This confrontation has moved past the realm of deterrence. It has officially entered an entirely new, vicious, and unimaginably bloody dimension. All the world knows right now is that CENTCOM has dropped bone-chilling footage confirming a devastating, deep earth strike inside Iran. Every eye across the globe is now glued to the monitors, frantically tracking the slightest military maneuver and dissecting the most ambiguous statements from both Washington and Tehran. The dust beneath the mountains may eventually settle, but the fires of vengeance and the very real threat of a sweeping, catastrophic war have just been doused in gasoline. The world's ticking time bomb has started its final countdown, and no one knows exactly when it will detonate, dragging everything into the abyss. The real deadly game of survival has only just begun.